Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first of a different series that I'm doing, mod combinations. Where basically I'm going to be reviewing or showing mods that you should probably play at the same time to get a very good experience. Now let's get off. So right off the bat, we have the Thorium mod, and today we're reviewing the best mods for the throwing class. So today we're reviewing the Thorium mod, which adds a lot of throwing weapons, and then also the Orion mod, which is probably less known, but it adds a bunch of late game throwing class items because the game kind of lacks that. So let's start off with this. So the first one we're doing is seeing as a Shinobi Slicer from the Thorium mod. You need a solidifier, and it costs 10 gel for 20 of them. So they kind of just bounce around, deal 10 throwing damage. They're decent. Let's look at the Nige Shiv. I don't know exactly where to get it, but so I think you get the Nige from some from dungeon chests. Like you get the like the other weapon. So let's look. So basically, one of the main functions of a Thorium mod is that some throwing class weapons, when you use them, they use this little bar right here. And basically, it's like if you the more I use it, you see, the more filled up the bar gets, and if it fills up all the way, then I can't use it anymore. Now this is the Rocket Fist. Gets from some molten residue, which can be dropped by a bunch of hell enemies. Some hellstone bars and a few souls of night. So it's pretty much just early hard mode. So looks like a good weapon that could go very far. And it also does a little explosion at the end, so that's cool. Now let's look at the true Carnivore. I'm gonna pronounce that. So there's the Carnivore, which is just some hollowed bars, and then you need broken hero fragments. I think the drop from Mothron too. So it shoots a bunch of different colored knives that fall down, and it also doesn't consume them. So it does the little bar thing. Now let's look at the Terra knife. You can buy it either with the Light's Anguish or the True Embodiment, which are basically just some. It's basically just the Knight's Edge, but for throwing. Well, this thing is basically a Terra Blade for throwing. So it looks like a good weapon that deals 58 throwing damage. Right click to throw an impaling Terra knife, which constantly damages your chosen target. So you have 2 attacks. That's pretty cool. So now let's look at the Orion mod. So basically, this is a Martian needle. It says it doesn't have any crafting recipes. I assume you just find it in a chest or something. So just a really good and fast weapon that deals 60 damage. Now let's look at the Hand of the Moon. I assume that it drops on the Moon Lord or something. It has 180 throwing damage, average speed, knockback, send explosive lunar ice hurtling towards their foes. So yeah, it looks like a really good weapon. Now let's look at the prime saw. This one actually has a recipe: 15 sulfurite and 15 hallowed bars. So let's see. So it's kind of like a boomerang in a way, except you can throw out a bunch of it. So that weapon looks decent. Now let's look at the true copper short sword. Costs a Birkin hero sword and a copper short sword at a lizard altar? No, that's the first time that I've seen. So it looks like it just shoots through walls and stuff. It has 100 throwing damage and fast speed. So I guess it's decent. Maybe better than the thorium ones, but most of the time when you combine mods, there's probably one part that isn't that balanced. Now let's look at Orion's Gauntlet, which takes some Orion fragments from the mod, which basically that's one of the biggest things. So right here, if you search up Pillar, you could see the new Orion Pillar, which basically it drops Orion fragments, which is supposed to be for the throwing class. So it shoots a bunch of, I think, stars from the sky. Now let's look at the Orion Capeche, which is the same thing. It has the same recipe, just some shards. It throws out a few of these things really fast. Now let's look at some of the armor and the mods. So first, for pre-hard mode, we have the flight armor, which you get some avian cartilage, which drops from heartbeats and some feathers. So let's see what it does. So first of all, let's do the single pieces. So this one gives throwing damage and critical strike chance, 10% increased throwing damage, and then 10% increased moving speed. And then the set bonus is that you can now briefly fly. So now they're in my vanity. So yeah, it's still really something that's good. That's pretty much one of the first armor sets or one of the first throwing armor sets that you could get. So now let's look at the shark steel ones. They're made with some fins, souls of might, iron bars, and a diamond per piece. So they're like mid-hard mode. So 10% increased throwing damage and velocity. 12% thrown damage, strike chance, and velocity too. And then 12% increased thrown critical strike chance and velocity. So this one has 34 defense, and then the set bonus user are fish. So we have wet flipper, move like normal water, gills, breathe water instead of air. Thorns, attackers also take damage, and yeah, I think that's just because there's some sunflowers. Yep. But still, that set bonus is really good. Oh, and also this set of armor gives you 15 defense. Anyways, that's a review of the combination of the Orion mod and the throwing mod. Please like and subscribe, and bye.